All right, so this video is going to be a bit of a deep dive, but um, some of you will be like, what is he talking about? Other people will be like, this is super cool. So big picture is, a couple years ago, I started using the Healy device, extraordinary device, has a lot of basically using frequency to heal, really spirit, soul, body to a certain degree. It had seen huge impact on physical issues as well as more consciousness level issues. Recently, I came across, in the fall, I came across this product, this curcumin product that's 18,000% more bioavailable than normal curcumin and has been the cheapest and most effective supplement I've ever sold. Easily, just absolutely extraordinary. And in February, a friend of mine told me about the terrahertz one, and terahertz is it's kind of like some people call it a far infrared frequency. Basically, this device can shoot a terahertz frequency about a foot through your body, and that's the frequency of like healthy cells. Anyways, I found the two to be really extraordinarily beneficial together. And one thing, for example, one thing we know about frequency and information is that water is a great carrier of frequency. If you've ever seen Emoto's messages in water, it's really, really interesting. And so one thing you can do is you can put the Vidify drops into water, and then you wand the water, and that seems to almost double the energetic potential of what you have, which would be this product here. Okay, so a deep dive is this. I was on in a Facebook message group, and I saw this guy named Joy Phillips post something, and it just something caught my attention about it, right? And if you know me, I'm often a little light on the deep dive in the science, but very heavy on the practical application of things. All right. So he said this, and I'll read it. He says, miracle molecule goes quantum. He says, applying terahertz frequency to water mixed with fulvic acid creates rotational quantum states of encapsulated water molecules. And he linked an article in Nature. And then he said, seriously though, get some fulvic acid and mix it with water and charge it with the device. It will make you a quantum harmonic semiconductor. And something about it caught my attention. I'm like, I always like to experiment with things, right? And so there were some fulvic acids recommended there. I went on Amazon and I kept on muscle testing them until I got this product. I'm like, this seemed to test the best for fulvic acid for me, right? So I ordered it, Amazon, boom, it's here the next day. And muscle testing is just a yes or no response from your body. And one thing I do is I muscle test, not just yes or no, but like on a scale. Does that make sense? So it's something like a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, right? So for example, using the drops by themselves would be like often like a 10-star, which is really, really high. Putting it in water and then wanding it with this almost seemed to double the potential of it, which I thought was super interesting. So when I got it, I put some in water and mixed it up, like you see here, and it muscle tested good. Now, one thing sometimes you can skip over is something might be really good, but can you handle it? Okay, does that make sense? So yes, I really need it, but I can't handle it. When I skip the can I handle it part. And so I put just a few drops in water, wanted it, started drinking it. And my body was like, whoa, like slightly freaked out, not in a super bad way, but I was like energized and like got a little bit of headache and my body was freaking out. And it was like, okay, my body wants this, but can't handle it at all. So I started really muscle testing different things. I'm like, okay, well, what is it doing? And it was for my physical body, it was giving it like a huge upgrade, but in one system, it was like Is it like nervous system? No. Digestion? No. All these things until I got to DNA, like expression of genetic information. And that was like, boom. And later I looked back at the person who had originally made that post and why he was so excited about this water encapsulated quantum rotation, whatever. I didn't really understand it. And it turns out what he does is he does a lot of work with DNA issues. I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But when I started working with it, the only way I will describe it is there's something about the fulvic acid in wanted water that wants to the way I would describe it is, we've got an original design, original God-given divine design going through your DNA. And as we go through life, different experiences and messages and toxicity want to interfere with the proper expression of that true genetic divine potential. And it was very interesting as I did some work on myself, brought in all these deep-rooted emotional issues having to do with what if you really were powerful? What if you really were victorious, over the top successful? Now, that all sounds great, but there's a lot of, um, potential issues and subconscious pushback on that. Like, what if you were the most powerful person around your certain circle? Is that comfortable for you? Is it comfortable for you to have it all together and be successful when other people don't? What if your body could really be powerful and return to its design and get healthy and effective? Well, that sounds great, but then it can potentially set you up for um, disappointment and tragedy. And anyways, so it was all sorts of really interesting things. Um, before before using this fulvic acid, I would have said that the most powerful tool for consciousness would be the Healy. And while I still love my Healy and it's, you know, amazing for use on certain things in consciousness, for I would have to say that really using a fire hose of quantum potential frequency to rewire some things, that there's something about this new combination that I'm super excited to explore. Anyways, hope this is helpful and interesting for you. And I'm actually hopefully going to get this guy, Joey, on a Zoom and we'll do a deep dive on what the heck is this, because I have a feeling he has a little better, deeper understanding of it than I do. And maybe I can simplify it and reshare the information. Anyways, hope that's helpful. Hope you guys have a great weekend.